I'm Dr. Elena Ruiz, a hematologist at the Hematology Research Institute, where we dedicate ourselves to unraveling the complexities of blood disorders, especially those that challenge conventional understanding. Over the years, I've witnessed remarkable progress in hematology, advances in molecular diagnostics, innovative treatment protocols, and a growing appreciation of the nuanced biology that governs blood function. Yet, as much as science has illuminated, there remain cases that push the boundaries of what we know, reminding me that every patient's blood tells a story, sometimes one we have never heard before. Comment below if you've ever encountered a medical mystery, and don't forget to subscribe for more captivating stories. The Hematology Research Institute stands at the forefront of blood research and clinical innovation. Our teams of clinicians, researchers, and laboratory specialists work in concert, harnessing cutting-edge technology to explore the molecular and cellular landscapes of blood. We have recently integrated advanced spectroscopic techniques and next-generation sequencing into our diagnostic repertoire, enabling us to detect anomalies at an unprecedented level of detail. These tools have transformed the way we approach hematologic diseases, allowing us to tailor therapies more precisely and to venture into areas once deemed inscrutable. Despite these breakthroughs, the field of hematology remains a frontier with uncharted territories. Rare blood disorders that defy classification appear periodically, challenging our diagnostic algorithms and therapeutic strategies. It is in these moments that the limits of current knowledge become clear and the true complexity of blood's role in human health reveals itself. Cases like these are humbling. They test our scientific rigor, our clinical acumen, and, often most profoundly, our compassion. In my career, I have encountered numerous patients whose blood conditions demanded not only medical expertise, but also a willingness to embrace uncertainty. These experiences have shaped my approach to patient care and research, instilling a deep commitment to inquiry and empathy. At the Hematology Research Institute, we view each such case as an opportunity to expand the horizons of hematology, to challenge assumptions, and to forge new paths in understanding. Recently, our center has been abuzz with the promise of novel blood analysis technologies. Molecular hematology, in particular, has opened windows into the structural and functional variations of hemoglobin and other blood proteins. These advances provide a framework for deciphering complex disorders that involve subtle biochemical alterations, which might otherwise escape detection. Yet, with every breakthrough, the landscape grows more intricate, revealing layers of complexity that compel us to dig deeper. The patients who bring these mysteries to our doors are not merely clinical puzzles. They are individuals with stories, hopes, and fears. Their conditions often upend their lives and those of their families, and navigating the unknown can be isolating and distressing. As a hematologist, I am acutely aware that beyond the laboratory data and clinical charts lies the human experience, one that demands patience, clear communication, and unwavering support. The Hematology Research Institute's mission extends beyond diagnosis and treatment. It encompasses education and collaboration. We strive to foster an environment where clinicians share insights, where researchers and clinicians engage in dynamic dialogue, and where patients are active partners in their care. This multidisciplinary ethos is essential, especially when confronting cases that defy easy explanation. It is through collective expertise and diverse perspectives that breakthroughs emerge. As I reflect on the work we do here, I am reminded of the delicate balance between scientific inquiry and the art of medicine. The blood we study is not merely a collection of cells and molecules. It is a vital thread woven into the fabric of life. Its mysteries challenge us to be both scientists and healers, to pursue knowledge relentlessly while honoring the humanity before us. This balance is particularly poignant when the cases that come to us resist resolution. The Hematology Research Institute is a place where hope and uncertainty coexist. We celebrate each incremental discovery, yet we remain humble in the face of the unknown. It is this duality that motivates our team to persist, to innovate, and to care deeply. In this environment, I have found my professional purpose and my personal passion. The rare and the unusual are not just academic curiosities, they are calls to action. They remind me that medicine is a living discipline, ever evolving, shaped by each patient and each unanswered question. At the Hematology Research Institute, we are privileged to be at the nexus of discovery and care, constantly striving to bring clarity to the enigmatic and relief to those who suffer. The recent advancements I've mentioned are not merely technical achievements. They represent hope. Hope that even the most perplexing blood disorders can one day be understood, that patients will receive diagnoses that make sense, and that targeted treatments will restore health and dignity. Yet, with this hope comes the recognition of the challenges ahead, challenges that require perseverance, creativity, and collaboration. In my role, I often think about the patients we have yet to meet, those whose blood carries secrets we have not yet decoded. Each case presents an opportunity for learning and growth, for pushing the frontiers of hematology further. This sense of anticipation and responsibility is a constant companion in my work, fueling my dedication to this field. The Hematology Research Institute embodies this spirit of exploration. Our commitment to integrating novel technologies, fostering interdisciplinary teamwork, and prioritizing compassionate care positions us uniquely to confront the unknown. As we continue to expand our capabilities and deepen our understanding, I am confident that we will uncover answers that today seem beyond reach. At the heart of this endeavor are the patients and their families, whose trust and resilience inspire us daily. Their journeys remind me that medicine is not merely about cells and molecules, but about lives intertwined with science. It is their courage in the face of uncertainty that motivates me to keep searching for meaning in every drop of blood. As we prepare to welcome a new patient whose case promises to challenge our expertise in unprecedented ways, I am both apprehensive and hopeful. The mysteries of blood are vast, but so too is our resolve. In the coming days and weeks, the Hematology Research Institute will mobilize its full spectrum of resources, guided by the conviction that every question is worth pursuing and every patient deserves our best. This is the beginning of a journey, one rooted in science, driven by curiosity, and sustained by empathy. It is a journey that epitomizes the mission of the Hematology Research Institute and the heart of hematology itself, to illuminate the unknown and to heal the human body, one patient at a time. Not long after reflecting on the mission and advances at the Hematology Research Institute, a case arrived that immediately captured my attention, a patient whose blood defied every expectation and challenged the very foundations of our diagnostic framework. Daniel Harper was a man in his early 40s who came to us with a condition unlike anything I had encountered before, a striking and inexplicable change in the color of his blood. Daniel's story began several weeks prior, when he noticed subtle but unusual symptoms, mild fatigue, and an odd discoloration of his skin under certain lighting. These signs prompted him to seek medical advice, initially from his primary care physician. However, it was during routine blood draws that the true mystery emerged. Laboratory technicians were startled to observe that Daniel's blood exhibited an unfamiliar hue, neither the bright red of oxygenated blood nor the darker shades typical of venous samples. Instead, the blood appeared an unusual shade that defied conventional description, almost iridescent, with a subtle purplish tint that remained consistent regardless of exposure to air. This phenomenon was as alarming as it was puzzling. Daniel himself was understandably concerned, the sight of his own blood unsettling him deeply. Despite the visible anomaly, he reported no severe symptoms beyond his initial fatigue and some intermittent dizziness. There was no history of exposure to toxins, no recent travel, and no known family history of blood disorders. He was otherwise healthy, active, and engaged in his daily life. Yet this baffling change in his blood color raised urgent questions. Upon his arrival at the Hematology Research Institute, we conducted a thorough clinical evaluation. Daniel was cooperative and forthcoming, eager to find answers, but understandably anxious about the unknown. His vital signs were stable, and physical examination revealed no overt abnormalities apart from the faint discoloration he described. Our first priority was to confirm and characterize the unusual blood color through laboratory analysis. Initial blood samples were processed with meticulous care. Under the microscope, the morphology of red blood cells appeared normal. There was no evidence of hemolysis, sickling, or other structural abnormalities. Yet the color discrepancy persisted, visible even in fresh samples. We employed spectrophotometry to analyze the absorbance spectra of the hemoglobin present, expecting to identify known variants such as methemoglobin or sulfhemoglobin, both of which can alter blood color. Surprisingly, the spectral data failed to match any established patterns. Standard biochemical assays and arterial blood gas analyses were equally inconclusive. Daniel's oxygen saturation levels were within normal ranges, and there was no indication of impaired oxygen delivery or utilization. Our initial battery of tests left us with more questions than answers. What caused this persistent and unusual coloration? Was it a new variant of hemoglobin, a rare metabolic anomaly, or something entirely novel? Recognizing the limitations of routine testing, we immediately engaged the full spectrum of advanced hematologic diagnostics available at the Institute. Our laboratory teams prepared to conduct a series of specialized analyses: advanced electrophoresis, high-performance liquid chromatography, and mass spectrometry, to probe the molecular composition of Daniel's hemoglobin and plasma proteins. We also planned genetic sequencing to explore any unusual mutations that might underlie this phenomenon. Throughout this process, Daniel remained remarkably composed, though I sensed the weight of uncertainty pressing on him. The inability to provide immediate answers often fuels anxiety, and I made it a point to maintain open communication, sharing each step of our investigation and ensuring he felt supported. His family was similarly involved, offering steady encouragement and expressing a mix of hope and apprehension. The Institute's multidisciplinary team convened to discuss Daniel's case in detail. Hematologists, biochemists, geneticists, and laboratory scientists pooled their expertise, reviewing every piece of data gathered thus far. We considered all plausible explanations, from uncommon hemoglobinopathies to environmental exposures and rare enzymatic defects. Yet none fit the clinical and laboratory picture perfectly. The rarity of Daniel's presentation was a stark reminder of how much remains unknown in hematology. While we have cataloged countless hemoglobin variants and blood disorders, the spectrum of possible anomalies is vast. Cases like Daniel's underline the importance of maintaining intellectual humility and scientific curiosity, especially when faced with unprecedented findings. Our initial management focused on monitoring Daniel's clinical status closely. Since he exhibited no signs of hypoxia or systemic distress, invasive interventions were deferred pending more definitive diagnostics. We conducted serial blood draws to observe any evolution in the coloration and to ensure no deterioration in blood parameters. At the same time, supportive care was emphasized, including counseling to help Daniel cope with the stress of an unresolved diagnosis. The emotional dimension of this case was palpable. Daniel expressed a mixture of frustration and determination, grappling with the bizarre nature of his condition and the uncertainty of its implications. His resilience was inspiring, a testament to the human capacity to endure ambiguity when faced with medical enigmas. His family's presence provided a vital foundation of support, reinforcing the collaborative spirit essential in managing complex cases. As days turned into weeks, our investigations deepened. We expanded our analyses to include assessments for rare toxins and metabolites that could influence blood chemistry. Environmental and occupational histories were re-examined with Daniel to identify any overlooked exposures. Geneticists began exploring whole exome sequencing data, searching for mutations that might affect hemoglobin structure or blood cell metabolism in previously uncharacterized ways. Throughout this phase, the Institute's atmosphere was one of intense focus and cautious optimism. Each new test brought fresh insights, though none solved the mystery outright. The interdisciplinary dialogues sparked new hypotheses and avenues for exploration, illustrating the dynamic nature of medical problem-solving. Daniel's case quickly became more than a clinical challenge. It was a catalyst for institutional reflection on the boundaries of hematologic knowledge. It underscored the need for ongoing research into atypical blood presentations and the value of integrating clinical observations with cutting-edge laboratory science. It reminded us that every patient encounter is a potential doorway to discovery. For me personally, Daniel's presentation was a profound professional moment. It highlighted the delicate interplay between established science and the unknown, between diagnostic certainty and investigative perseverance. It was a vivid example of why hematology, despite its advances, remains a field where curiosity and compassion must coexist. As our team prepared for the next phase of inquiry, I was reminded that medicine is a journey without guarantees. The path from symptom to diagnosis can be winding and uncertain, especially in the realm of rare disorders. Yet, the commitment to seek answers, to stand with patients through ambiguity, and to push the frontiers of knowledge is what defines our work at the Hematology Research Institute. Daniel Harper was no longer simply a patient. He was a living enigma, a challenge to our expertise and a call to deepen our understanding of the blood's mysteries. In the days to come, our efforts would intensify, guided by the conviction that every question deserves pursuit and every patient deserves hope. The days that followed Daniel Harper's arrival at the Hematology Research Institute were marked by a relentless pursuit of answers, a journey through layers of diagnostic complexity that both challenged and humbled our team. His case was unlike any I had encountered before, an anomaly not just in clinical presentation, but in the very nature of his blood, which seemed to defy the conventions of hematologic science. Our initial battery of tests, while thorough, had yielded no definitive cause for the unusual coloration of Daniel's blood. Faced with this uncertainty, we expanded our investigative methods, employing a suite of specialized techniques designed to probe deeper into the biochemical and molecular underpinnings of blood composition. These tools included detailed blood smear analyses, spectrophotometry to quantify hemoglobin variants, and biochemical assays targeting enzymes and metabolites that might alter blood pigment. The blood smear examinations revealed red blood cells of normal size and shape, with no evidence of fragmentation or inclusion bodies. This ruled out many common hemolytic or structural disorders. Spectrophotometric readings, however, continued to confound us. While we considered methemoglobinemia, a condition where hemoglobin is oxidized, causing a brownish discoloration, and sulfhemoglobinemia, known for producing a greenish tint, Daniel's blood color did not align with the typical spectra of these conditions. The absorbance peaks were shifted in unusual ways, suggesting a variant or modification of hemoglobin unlike any cataloged. Biochemical assays targeting enzymes involved in hemoglobin metabolism and red blood cell integrity, such as glucose, 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, pyruvate kinase, and others, returned normal results. We also tested for the presence of unusual metabolites that might interact with hemoglobin, including environmental toxins and drug metabolites, but these too were absent. The inconclusive nature of these findings was deeply frustrating. I recall the palpable tension among my colleagues during our case conferences, each of us grappling with the limits of existing knowledge. We were faced with a puzzle that resisted the usual frameworks of diagnosis, forcing us to question whether Daniel's condition represented a novel pathology or an as-yet undescribed alteration of blood chemistry. Meanwhile, Daniel's condition remained stable but unresolved. His blood color persisted, unchanged despite the absence of clinical deterioration. His symptoms were mild but persistent, fatigue and occasional dizziness, but no organ dysfunction was evident. This stability allowed us to focus on diagnostics without the immediate pressure of acute intervention, yet the uncertainty weighed heavily on Daniel and his family. In an effort to address potential reversible causes, we initiated treatments commonly effective for methemoglobinemia and related conditions, including administration of methylene blue and high-dose vitamin C, both known to reduce oxidized hemoglobin. Unfortunately, these interventions produced no change in blood color or clinical symptoms. These negative results, while disappointing, provided valuable information, steering us away from oxidative hemoglobinopathies and prompting further exploration. Throughout this period, I found myself reflecting on the emotional dimension of the case. Daniel's anxiety was understandable. The sight of his own blood, altered and inexplicable, was a source of distress. His willingness to endure repeated tests and treatments without losing hope was remarkable. I made it a priority to engage with him regularly, explaining each step of our investigation and reiterating our commitment to uncovering the cause of his condition. The strain on our medical team was also evident. The case demanded extensive coordination among hematologists, laboratory scientists, geneticists, and clinicians, each bringing their expertise to bear, yet often confronted by the same frustrating gaps in understanding. The Institute's multidisciplinary approach was both a strength and a necessity, fostering collaboration that kept the investigation dynamic and comprehensive. In parallel, we expanded our genetic analyses. Whole exome sequencing was performed to identify any mutations that might affect hemoglobin structure, red blood cell membrane proteins, or metabolic enzymes. While some variants of uncertain significance were detected, none correlated clearly with Daniel's clinical presentation or the blood discoloration. This lack of a genetic smoking gun added another layer of complexity, reminding us that not all pathologies are easily traced to known mutations. As the days progressed, we also explored potential environmental and occupational factors with renewed rigor. Daniel's history was carefully reviewed for possible exposures to chemicals, drugs, or toxins that might induce unusual hemoglobin modifications or blood discoloration. His lifestyle and workplace were unremarkable in this regard, offering no clear leads. The emotional atmosphere of our team was a blend of determination and growing humility. We were venturing into uncharted territory, where standard protocols and empirical evidence gave way to hypothesis and inference. Our discussions often circled back to the need for patience and the readiness to embrace uncertainty without compromising scientific rigor. Daniel's family played a vital role during this phase. Their steadfast support and involvement were a source of comfort, both for Daniel and for our team. Their questions and observations sometimes sparked new lines of inquiry, reminding us that patient-centered care involves listening as much as testing. I was particularly struck by the resilience Daniel exhibited. Despite the unknowns, he maintained a hopeful outlook, expressing confidence in the team's efforts and a willingness to endure whatever was necessary to find answers. Witnessing this fortitude deepened my appreciation for the human spirit's capacity to withstand medical ambiguity. In clinical practice, cases like Daniel's are reminders that medicine is not always a linear path from symptom to diagnosis to cure. Instead, it can be a winding road marked by setbacks, dead ends, and incremental progress. Yet, each step forward, no matter how small, adds to the collective knowledge that benefits future patients. The investigative process prompted us to consider unconventional explanations. Could Daniel's blood color be the result of a rare hemoglobin variant or a novel post-translational modification of hemoglobin? Was there an unknown enzymatic activity altering the heme group or globin chains? These questions propelled us toward more advanced molecular studies and experimental approaches. Meanwhile, I remained mindful of Daniel's physical and psychological well-being. Frequent blood draws and hospital visits can be taxing, so we sought to minimize discomfort and maintain clear communication. Balancing aggressive investigation with compassionate care was paramount. Our team also began to explore potential experimental treatments, though these were approached cautiously and only within ethical guidelines. The absence of clinical deterioration allowed us the time to consider innovative options, including therapies aimed at modulating hemoglobin chemistry or supporting red blood cell function. Throughout this period, I found myself reflecting on the broader implications of Daniel's case. It exemplified the intersection of clinical medicine and research, where patient care and scientific discovery are intertwined. It underscored the necessity of maintaining curiosity and persistence in the face of the unknown. As the investigation continued, the Institute's leadership supported efforts to integrate Daniel's case into our ongoing research initiatives. We sought collaboration with external experts and institutions specializing in rare hemoglobinopathies and blood biochemistry. This networked approach expanded our investigative reach and enriched our perspectives. Despite the challenges, the experience reinforced a core tenet of medical practice: the importance of empathy and communication. It was vital to acknowledge Daniel's fears and uncertainties, to validate his experience, and to provide reassurance even when answers were elusive. In these moments, I was reminded that the essence of hematology, and indeed all medicine, is not solely in the tests and treatments, but in the relationship between patient and caregiver. Daniel's case was a testament to this principle, a living example of why we must blend scientific rigor with human compassion. As we prepared for the next stage of our investigation, I remained hopeful. Though progress was slow and the path uncertain, each piece of data brought us closer to understanding. Daniel was not alone in this journey. Together, we were committed to unraveling the mystery that his blood presented, driven by the shared conviction that no question is too complex and no patient too rare to merit our fullest effort. The mystery of Daniel Harper's blood color had become a focal point of intense study and discussion within the Hematology Research Institute. As our investigations deepened, it became clear that no single specialty could unravel this enigma alone. This realization ushered in a new phase of collaboration, bringing together not only hematologists but also biochemists, geneticists, toxicologists, and molecular biologists in a concerted effort to decipher the nature of Daniel's condition. Our multidisciplinary team gathered frequently, pooling data and perspectives in a dynamic process of hypothesis generation and critical evaluation. Hematologists shared clinical observations and laboratory findings, while biochemists examined the molecular composition of Daniel's blood, searching for unusual protein modifications or novel compounds. Geneticists analyzed sequencing data, probing for mutations that might explain the structural or functional aberrations suggested by the blood's appearance. This collaborative approach fostered an atmosphere of intellectual openness and creativity. We entertained unconventional ideas, exploring possibilities that lay beyond the traditional boundaries of hematology. Among these were the potential roles of environmental toxins previously unrecognized, rare mutations affecting enzymatic pathways involved in hemoglobin synthesis or degradation, and unknown metabolic factors that could alter blood pigments. Toxicologists became involved as we broadened our environmental assessments, re-examining Daniel's occupational and residential history for exposures that might have been overlooked. Although no obvious toxins were identified, the search prompted us to consider subtle or cumulative effects of environmental agents that could modify blood chemistry in unexpected ways. Throughout these exchanges, Daniel remained at the center of our attention, not just as a subject of study, but as a person confronting a bewildering health issue. His resilience and determination were sources of inspiration for the team. Despite the uncertainty and the barrage of tests, he maintained a cooperative and hopeful attitude, embodying a spirit of courage that grounded our efforts. Daniel's family, too, played an essential role. Their involvement provided emotional support and practical assistance, helping him navigate the complexities of medical care. They attended consultations and laboratory visits, asked insightful questions, and offered perspectives that enriched our understanding of Daniel's day-to-day experience with his condition. The emotional dimension of this case weighed heavily on all of us. The limits of medical science became apparent as we wrestled with the unknown, a humbling reminder that not every clinical mystery yields immediate answers. This experience challenged our usual clinical confidence, compelling us to embrace ambiguity and to persist in the face of uncertainty. In team meetings, we often reflected on the broader implications of Daniel's condition. Could his blood discoloration represent a previously unrecognized category of hematologic disorder? Might it reveal new mechanisms of hemoglobin modification or red blood cell metabolism? These questions propelled us to consider not just diagnostic possibilities, but also the scientific significance of our findings. Daniel's case also sparked conversations about the importance of integrating patient experiences into the research process. His narrative, his symptoms, his anxieties, his insights became data of a different kind, enriching our clinical and scientific understanding. We sought to listen attentively, recognizing that the human element is indispensable when confronting medical enigmas. As weeks passed, our investigations continued to expand. Advanced proteomic analyses were employed to detect subtle modifications in hemoglobin or associated proteins. Metabolomic studies aim to identify unusual metabolites or biochemical pathways that might influence blood pigmentation. Genetic sequencing efforts were broadened to include regulatory regions and epigenetic markers, seeking clues beyond coding mutations. Despite exhaustive testing, definitive answers remained elusive. This ongoing uncertainty underscored the complexity of Daniel's condition and the need for patience and perseverance. Yet it also reinforced the collaborative spirit within our team, a shared commitment to pushing the boundaries of knowledge and to supporting our patient through this uncharted journey. Clinically, Daniel's status remained stable. His symptoms waxed and waned but did not progress, allowing us to focus on thorough investigation without the urgency of acute intervention. Throughout, we emphasized supportive care and psychological counseling, recognizing the toll that prolonged uncertainty can exact. Daniel's resilience was mirrored by the dedication of the medical and scientific teams. The case became a living testament to the necessity of multidisciplinary collaboration in modern medicine, where complex disorders often transcend traditional specialties. It highlighted the value of integrating diverse expertise and the power of collective problem-solving. On a personal level, the experience deepened my appreciation for the human aspect of medical practice. Daniel was more than a clinical puzzle. He was a person navigating fear, hope, and the unknown. His journey reminded me that empathy and communication are as vital as diagnostic acumen when managing rare and baffling conditions. The case also prompted introspection among the team about the nature of medical knowledge itself. Medicine is a field perpetually evolving, shaped by each patient and each unanswered question. Daniel's condition was a vivid illustration of this truth, a reminder that even in an era of advanced technology and molecular insights, mystery still persists. In response, we began to document our findings meticulously, preparing to contribute to the scientific literature and to share our experiences with broader hematology and research communities. Daniel's case held the potential to inform future investigations and perhaps to catalyze new lines of inquiry into blood disorders and pigment alterations. Amid the uncertainty, a sense of cautious optimism emerged. The very process of investigation, of collaboration, hypothesis testing, and patient-centered care was itself a form of progress. Each test, each discussion, each moment of engagement with Daniel and his family contributed to a deeper understanding, even if definitive conclusions remained beyond reach for the time being. We also recognized the importance of maintaining hope. Hope that ongoing research would eventually elucidate the mechanisms behind Daniel's unique blood coloration. Hope that emerging technologies might reveal what current methods could not. Hope that Daniel's condition, whatever its nature, could be managed or treated effectively. As the team continued its work, I found myself reflecting on the delicate interplay between certainty and doubt in medicine. Daniel's case was a powerful reminder that our role as clinicians and scientists is not only to seek answers, but also to bear uncertainty with grace, to support patients through ambiguity, and to persist in the quest for knowledge. In this shared journey, Daniel was not alone. We stood with him, scientists and caregivers united by a common purpose. Together, we navigated the uncharted, driven by the conviction that every patient matters, every mystery deserves attention, and every step forward enriches the tapestry of medical understanding. Daniel Harper's condition, with its perplexing blood discoloration and elusive diagnosis, had by now woven itself deeply into the fabric of his daily life. Beyond the clinical and laboratory evaluations, there was a personal journey unfolding, one marked by adjustments, uncertainties, and the profound impact of living with a mystery illness. For Daniel, the strange hue of his blood was not merely a medical curiosity. It became a defining feature of his existence. The visible anomaly, visible to him and his loved ones, was a constant reminder of an unknown threat. Simple acts, like seeing his own blood during a minor cut, evoked a mix of fascination and unease. This daily confrontation with the inexplicable shaped his emotional landscape, bringing moments of anxiety and reflection. His work and social life were affected in subtle but significant ways. Daniel found himself more cautious, avoiding situations where injury might occur, even though no one could predict how or if his blood condition might lead to harm. He also became more attuned to his body's signals, vigilant for symptoms others might overlook. The uncertainty surrounding his diagnosis amplified a sense of vulnerability, a psychological burden that weighed alongside the physical manifestations. Daniel's family emerged as a vital source of strength. Their unwavering support provided a foundation of stability amid the shifting sands of medical ambiguity. They accompanied him to appointments, engaged with the medical team, and helped manage the emotional roller coaster that accompanied the ongoing investigations. This network of care underscored the essential role that relationships play in navigating rare and challenging health conditions. From my perspective as a hematologist, managing Daniel's case brought into sharp focus the complexities of caring for patients whose conditions defy standard protocols. The absence of a clear diagnosis challenged not only our scientific understanding, but also our clinical decision-making. Without established guidelines, every intervention required careful consideration, balancing potential benefits against unknown risks. This uncertainty demanded a heightened level of empathy and communication. I endeavored to maintain transparency with Daniel and his family, sharing both what we knew and what remained uncertain. It was essential to acknowledge the limits of our knowledge while affirming our commitment to his care. This dialogue fostered trust, an indispensable element in patient-centered medicine. In clinical practice, cases like Daniel's emphasize the importance of hope, not as blind optimism, but as a purposeful stance that sustains patients and clinicians alike through the challenges of ambiguity. Maintaining hope requires acknowledging difficulties honestly while nurturing the possibility of discovery and improvement. Throughout this process, I contemplated the possibility that Daniel's blood discoloration might stem from a novel alteration in blood chemistry or a previously unrecognized pathophysiological mechanism. Could there be an undiscovered modification of hemoglobin or related proteins? Might there be a rare enzymatic dysfunction affecting heme synthesis or degradation? These questions, while speculative, highlighted the frontiers of hematologic research and the need to remain open to new paradigms. Such speculation also underscored the dynamic nature of medical science. What is unknown today may become understood tomorrow through advances in technology and research. Daniel's case exemplified the potential for individual patient experiences to illuminate broader biological phenomena, thereby contributing to the evolution of medical knowledge. In tandem with these scientific reflections, the personal dimension remained paramount. Daniel's quality of life, his psychological well-being, and his social functioning were integral to the management plan. We engaged mental health professionals to support him through the emotional challenges inherent in his condition. This holistic approach recognized that medicine extends beyond the physical symptoms to encompass the whole person. As the medical team continued to explore diagnostic and therapeutic options, Daniel remained an active participant in his care. His questions, insights, and preferences guided decision-making, reinforcing the partnership essential to effective healthcare. This collaborative model honored his autonomy and respected his lived experience of illness. In considering treatment possibilities, we remained cautious. Without a definitive diagnosis, interventions risked unintended consequences. Yet, the drive to alleviate symptoms and improve well-being motivated us to consider supportive therapies, including nutritional support, symptom management, and strategies to enhance red blood cell function generally. The challenges inherent in Daniel's case also prompted me to reflect on the broader implications for clinical practice. Rare and baffling conditions demand flexibility, creativity, and a willingness to venture beyond established pathways. They require clinicians to embrace uncertainty, to listen deeply, and to sustain a commitment to learning. Moreover, Daniel's experience highlighted the importance of fostering resilience, not only in patients, but within medical teams. The emotional toll of confronting medical mysteries can be significant, and nurturing resilience supports sustained engagement and compassionate care. Throughout this journey, I was continually reminded of the profound human element at the heart of medicine. Each laboratory value, each diagnostic test, each clinical observation is tethered to a person's life, hopes, and fears. Daniel's case was a vivid illustration of why medicine must balance scientific rigor with empathy, technical expertise with human connection. The ongoing exploration of Daniel's condition reinforced my conviction that every patient encounter is an opportunity for growth, for expanding knowledge, refining clinical skills, and deepening compassionate understanding. His journey was not only about the search for answers, but also about the shared experience of confronting uncertainty together. As we navigated the complexities of this rare blood anomaly, Daniel's case became a powerful reminder of the delicate interplay between science and humanity in medical practice. It underscored the enduring need to hold space for mystery, to remain curious, and to honor the resilience of those who entrust us with their care. In this spirit, our team continued to pursue every possible avenue of investigation, driven by the hope that the answers we sought would emerge. Meanwhile, we remained committed to supporting Daniel as a whole person, acknowledging the impact of his condition on his life, addressing his needs comprehensively, and walking alongside him through the unknown. Months into Daniel Harper's ongoing evaluation, our team encountered a development that both surprised and cautiously uplifted us. After a series of experimental interventions aimed at modulating his blood chemistry, Daniel's blood color began to show signs of partial normalization, a subtle but unmistakable shift toward the expected red hues. This unexpected change infused our efforts with renewed optimism and prompted a careful reassessment of his care plan. The intervention that preceded this improvement was an experimental protocol designed to influence hemoglobin's oxidative state and red blood cell metabolism. Based on emerging research in hematologic biochemistry, we administered a combination of antioxidants and agents thought to stabilize hemoglobin structure. Though these treatments were not grounded in definitive evidence for Daniel's condition, the rationale was to support physiologic pathways that might be disrupted. As the days passed following initiation of this regimen, serial blood samples revealed gradual diminution of the abnormal coloration. The iridescent purplish tint that had so perplexed us began to fade, replaced by a more typical spectrum of red shades. Clinically, Daniel reported slight improvements in his energy levels and a reduction in intermittent dizziness, correlating with the hematologic changes. This turn of events was met with cautious enthusiasm. We recognized that the partial normalization did not equate to a cure or definitive explanation, but it offered a tangible sign that Daniel's blood chemistry was amenable to modification. The response suggested that some underlying biochemical or structural anomaly could be influenced through targeted therapies. In light of these findings, we adjusted Daniel's care plan to incorporate ongoing monitoring and supportive treatments aimed at maintaining and enhancing this positive trend. Close observation was essential to detect any fluctuations or adverse effects, and to tailor interventions responsively. Multidisciplinary input remained crucial as we balanced optimism with prudence. The partial improvement also prompted us to revisit our initial hypotheses. We reconsidered the possibility that Daniel's condition involved an oxidative imbalance or enzymatic dysfunction affecting hemoglobin stability. The response to antioxidant therapy lent credence to these theories, guiding further laboratory investigations focused on redox pathways and enzymatic activities within erythrocytes. This clinical development underscored the dynamic nature of Daniel's condition and the importance of adaptability in our approach. It reminded us that even in cases marked by diagnostic uncertainty, therapeutic trials, when carefully designed and ethically implemented, can yield valuable insights and benefits. At the same time, we remained mindful of Daniel's psychological well-being. The improvement in his blood color and symptoms brought a wave of hope, but also the potential for new anxieties, such as fear of relapse or disappointment if progress stalled. We continued to provide counseling and support, emphasizing the importance of resilience and open communication. Daniel's family shared in this cautious optimism, their spirits lifted by the visible changes and the prospect of a more manageable condition. Their involvement in monitoring and supporting Daniel's adherence to the treatment regimen was invaluable, reinforcing the collaborative nature of his care. From a professional standpoint, this unexpected clinical response invigorated our investigative efforts. It validated the value of experimental therapies as both potential treatments and diagnostic probes, illuminating aspects of Daniel's pathology that had remained obscure. Encouraged by these developments, we expanded our laboratory testing to include detailed analyses of oxidative stress markers, antioxidant enzyme levels, and hemoglobin structural variants under different redox conditions. These studies aim to delineate the biochemical mechanisms underlying Daniel's blood discoloration and to identify targets for future therapeutic intervention. Moreover, the partial normalization reinforced the concept of physiological adaptation and the role of patient willpower in the healing process. Daniel's commitment to the treatment protocol, his lifestyle adjustments, and his psychological resilience likely contributed to the positive trajectory observed. This case became a compelling illustration of the interplay between biology and the human spirit in medicine. Scientific exploration and patient determination combined to create a pathway forward, even in the absence of a fully elucidated diagnosis. The emerging clinical picture called for continuous reevaluation. Our team remained vigilant, ready to modify treatments in response to Daniel's evolving condition. This flexibility was essential in managing a disorder so rare and unpredictable. Simultaneously, we documented these experiences meticulously, recognizing their potential to inform future cases and to contribute to the broader understanding of rare hematologic phenomena. Sharing this knowledge through academic channels was a priority, fostering dialogue and collaboration within the medical community. As we proceeded, the balance between hope and realism remained central. While the partial improvement was encouraging, we maintained awareness that the journey ahead was uncertain and that vigilance was required to sustain progress. In this context, Daniel's case exemplified the iterative nature of medical care, where observation, intervention, reassessment, and adaptation form a continuous cycle. It highlighted the necessity of integrating emerging scientific insights with attentive clinical management and empathetic patient engagement. Through these experiences, the Hematology Research Institute reaffirmed its commitment to advancing both the art and science of medicine. Daniel's journey underscored the value of persistence, innovation, and collaboration in confronting the unknown. As I continued to work closely with Daniel and the team, I was reminded that medicine often progresses through incremental gains rather than sudden breakthroughs. Each step forward, no matter how modest, contributes to the collective quest for understanding and healing. Daniel's partial response to experimental therapy breathed new life into our pursuit, inspiring renewed energy and focus. It was a testament to the resilience of the human body and the potential for recovery even when the path is uncertain. In the unfolding chapters of this case, we remained united in our dedication to science, to care, and to the unwavering hope that informed every aspect of Daniel's treatment and our ongoing research. In the wake of Daniel Harper's partial clinical improvement, our investigative efforts took a decisive turn toward the molecular realm, harnessing cutting-edge diagnostics to unravel the biochemical complexities underlying his condition. The integration of next-generation sequencing and proteomic analysis became central to this phase, allowing us to probe the genetic and protein-level nuances that conventional testing had not revealed. Next-generation sequencing, NGS, offered a comprehensive examination of Daniel's genome, extending beyond the exome to include regulatory elements and structural variants that might influence hemoglobin function or red blood cell metabolism. This approach aimed to identify subtle mutations, epigenetic modifications, or complex rearrangements that could contribute to the unusual blood coloration and associated symptoms. The vast quantity of data generated required meticulous bioinformatic analysis. Our geneticists and computational biologists worked closely to filter variants, prioritizing those with potential functional impact. Several candidates emerged. Rare mutations in genes related to hemoglobin stability and redox regulation caught our attention. These findings suggested a possible immune-mediated alteration affecting hemoglobin's structure or function, a hypothesis that had not been previously considered. Simultaneously, proteomic analysis provided complementary insights by characterizing the protein composition and post-translational modifications in Daniel's blood. Using mass spectrometry, we detected unexpected modifications of hemoglobin and associated proteins, including unusual oxidative and enzymatic alterations. These modifications could alter hemoglobin's spectral properties, potentially explaining the distinctive blood coloration. The proteomic data also hinted at the presence of rare enzymatic functions that might modify heme groups or globin chains in unprecedented ways. This discovery opened new avenues for exploring blood protein chemistry and suggested that Daniel's condition might represent an immune-mediated or enzymatically driven modification of hemoglobin, an area largely unexplored in clinical hematology. These molecular findings prompted us to engage with emerging scientific theories about blood protein modifications, including those related to oxidative stress, immune complex formation, and enzymatic activity within erythrocytes. The convergence of genomics and proteomics in Daniel's case provided a multifaceted picture of a complex pathophysiological mechanism. Integrating these data required close collaboration among hematologists, molecular biologists, immunologists, and computational experts. Regular interdisciplinary meetings facilitated the synthesis of findings and the formulation of new hypotheses. This collaborative environment was instrumental in advancing our understanding and refining our investigative strategies. Daniel's case was subsequently incorporated into ongoing research studies at the Hematology Research Institute, designed to explore rare hemoglobin modifications and immune-mediated blood disorders. Participation in these studies provided access to additional analytical tools and fostered connections with international experts specializing in related fields. The integration of Daniel's data into broader collaborative networks expanded the scope of inquiry. Patient registries and biobanks enabled comparative analyses with other rare cases, enhancing the potential for identifying commonalities and underlying mechanisms. This collective effort underscored the value of sharing data and resources in tackling rare and complex hematologic conditions. Throughout this molecular exploration, we maintained a focus on clinical relevance. Understanding the biochemical and genetic alterations was not an end in itself, but a means to develop targeted diagnostic markers and therapeutic approaches. The identification of immune-mediated modifications suggested potential avenues for immunomodulatory treatments, which we began to consider cautiously. Daniel's clinical management continued in parallel, guided by insights from molecular findings. We monitored his response to supportive therapies and adjusted interventions in light of emerging data. The interplay between bench research and bedside care exemplified the translational nature of modern hematology. This phase of investigation also highlighted technological advancements that have transformed hematologic diagnostics. The sensitivity and specificity of NGS and proteomics provided unprecedented resolution, enabling the detection of subtle, yet clinically significant alterations that eluded traditional methods. Personally, I found this molecular journey both intellectually stimulating and professionally rewarding. It reinforced the importance of embracing innovative technologies and interdisciplinary collaboration in confronting medical mysteries. Daniel's case exemplified how integrating diverse scientific disciplines can illuminate complex biological phenomena. At the same time, the experience underscored the challenges inherent in interpreting vast molecular datasets. Distinguishing causative alterations from incidental findings required careful analysis and cautious inference. This complexity demanded ongoing refinement of bioinformatic tools and continual dialogue between laboratory scientists and clinicians. The molecular insights gained also opened broader questions about the immune system's role in modifying blood proteins and the potential for undiscovered enzymatic pathways affecting hemoglobin. These questions extended beyond Daniel's individual case, suggesting fertile ground for future research with implications for a range of hematologic disorders. As our understanding deepened, we remained committed to sharing these findings through academic publications and scientific conferences. Disseminating knowledge was essential to advancing the field and fostering innovation in diagnosis and treatment. Throughout this process, Daniel remained engaged and informed, his partnership integral to the investigative journey. We communicated complex molecular concepts in accessible terms, ensuring he understood the significance of findings and their potential implications for his care. The evolving narrative of Daniel's condition illustrated the symbiotic relationship between patient experience and scientific inquiry. His case was both a catalyst for discovery and a testament to the human dimension of medicine. As we progressed, the Hematology Research Institute solidified its role as a hub for pioneering research into rare blood disorders. Daniel's case exemplified the Institute's mission to integrate scientific rigor with compassionate clinical care, pushing the boundaries of knowledge while centering the patient's lived experience. In reflection, this chapter of Daniel's journey highlighted the transformative power of molecular diagnostics and interdisciplinary collaboration. It demonstrated how contemporary hematology bridges traditional clinical practice with advanced genomics and proteomics, creating new horizons for understanding and managing complex disorders. The insights gained fueled our determination to continue exploring uncharted territories in blood science. Daniel's case, with its intricate molecular landscape and clinical complexity, served as both a challenge and an inspiration, a reminder that the quest to decode the mysteries of human blood is ongoing and ever-evolving. Daniel Harper's case, with its intricate molecular findings and enigmatic clinical course, began to resonate far beyond the walls of the Hematology Research Institute. What had started as a singular diagnostic challenge evolved into a catalyst for renewed research interest into unexplained blood discolorations and related rare hematologic disorders. The ripple effect of this case extended into new diagnostic protocols, collaborative networks, and educational initiatives that promised to reshape understanding and care in this niche yet important field. Recognizing the broader significance of Daniel's condition, our institute prioritized the development of specialized diagnostic protocols tailored to detect and characterize unusual blood pigmentations and protein modifications. These protocols integrated advanced spectrophotometry, molecular sequencing, and proteomic profiling, informed directly by the insights gleaned from Daniel's investigations. The goal was to create a systematic approach that could be applied to future cases presenting with atypical blood features, thereby accelerating diagnosis and guiding management. This effort required cross-departmental collaboration within the institute, uniting clinical hematologists, laboratory scientists, bioinformaticians, and research coordinators. Together, we refined workflows and established criteria for identifying candidate patients who might benefit from these enhanced diagnostic pathways. This structured approach represented a significant advancement in addressing rare and previously overlooked hematologic phenomena. Beyond our institutional efforts, Daniel's case galvanized the formation of international collaborations. We reached out to experts and centers worldwide with experience in rare hemoglobinopathies, enzymatic blood disorders, and pigment abnormalities. These partnerships fostered data sharing, joint studies, and the creation of patient registries designed to aggregate information on similar cases. This collective database aimed to identify patterns, commonalities, and potential genetic or environmental factors contributing to these rare presentations. The establishment of such registries marked a pivotal step towards standardizing research and care for patients with unexplained blood discolorations. By pooling resources and expertise globally, the medical community sought to overcome the limitations imposed by the rarity and heterogeneity of these conditions. Daniel's case thus became a cornerstone in building a collaborative framework that could support future discoveries and therapeutic innovations. Simultaneously, the educational dimension of our work expanded. Daniel's story was incorporated into training programs for hematology fellows, laboratory personnel, and allied health professionals. We emphasized the importance of curiosity, persistence, and interdisciplinary teamwork in managing complex and atypical cases. This educational focus aimed to equip emerging clinicians and scientists with the skills and mindset necessary to navigate uncertainty and contribute meaningfully to advancing hematology. The case also inspired seminars and workshops highlighting the integration of molecular diagnostics, proteomics, and clinical care. These forums encouraged dialogue across specialties and fostered a culture of continuous learning and innovation. The lessons from Daniel's journey underscored that hematology is an evolving field where breakthroughs often arise from unexpected clinical encounters. At a personal level, the ongoing collaboration and educational efforts reaffirmed my belief in the power of collective endeavor. No single clinician or researcher holds all the answers, especially in rare disorders. It is through shared knowledge, open communication, and mutual support that progress is made. Daniel's case exemplified this principle, demonstrating how a single patient's experience can galvanize a community of professionals toward common goals. The impact of these initiatives extended to patient care as well. New diagnostic protocols and collaborative networks enhanced our ability to provide timely and accurate diagnoses, reducing the diagnostic odyssey many patients endure. Improved diagnostic clarity facilitated personalized management plans and informed counseling about prognosis and treatment options. Moreover, the growing awareness and recognition of rare blood discoloration disorders fostered empathy and understanding among healthcare providers. Patients presenting with unusual symptoms were met with greater attentiveness and less skepticism, improving the therapeutic relationship and patient experience. Daniel's journey also highlighted the importance of patient advocacy and involvement. He became an active participant in discussions about research priorities, registry development, and educational outreach. His perspectives enriched the dialogue, emphasizing the value of incorporating patient voices in shaping medical research and care. This collaborative spirit extended to engagement with patient support organizations, which began to emerge as valuable partners in education and advocacy. These groups provided community and resources for individuals facing rare hematologic conditions, complementing clinical and research efforts. Institutionally, the Hematology Research Institute embraced the lessons from Daniel's case to strengthen its commitment to innovation and compassionate care. The integration of research, clinical practice, and education formed a triad that propelled the institute forward as a leader in rare blood disorder investigation. As these efforts matured, they fostered a sense of hope, not only for Daniel, but for all patients confronting rare and baffling blood conditions. The growing infrastructure of knowledge, collaboration, and support promised to transform what was once an isolating and bewildering experience into one marked by understanding and possibility. Reflecting on this phase of Daniel's case, I was struck by the profound interconnectedness of medicine. A single patient's condition can ignite waves of progress, linking individuals and institutions across disciplines and continents. It is a testament to the collective nature of scientific endeavor and the shared humanity that underpins healthcare. The ongoing work inspired by Daniel's journey reaffirmed my dedication to fostering environments where curiosity thrives, where complexity is met with collaboration, and where every patient's story contributes to the evolving tapestry of medical knowledge. As we continue to build upon these foundations, the Hematology Research Institute stands poised to lead future advances in diagnosing and treating rare hematologic disorders. Daniel's case remains a beacon, guiding us toward a future where even the most enigmatic blood conditions can be understood, managed, and, ultimately, overcome through science, compassion, and partnership. As Daniel Harper's case progressed through months of investigation, treatment, and reflection, his clinical course revealed a gradual, albeit cautious, improvement. The distinctive coloration of his blood began to fade incrementally, and his symptoms, fatigue and dizziness, became less pronounced. While the underlying cause remained elusive, the trajectory offered a measure of hope that his condition could be managed, if not fully resolved. This slow but steady improvement underscored the coexistence of hope and uncertainty that defines much of medical practice, especially in cases involving rare and poorly understood disorders. It was a delicate balance, celebrating progress while recognizing the limits of current knowledge and the potential for unforeseen setbacks. Throughout Daniel's journey, the importance of multidisciplinary teamwork was evident. Hematologists, geneticists, biochemists, immunologists, and mental health professionals collaborated closely, each contributing expertise that enriched patient care and scientific understanding. This collective approach enabled a comprehensive assessment of Daniel's condition from multiple angles, fostering nuanced clinical decisions. Communication within the team and with Daniel and his family was paramount. Transparent discussions about diagnostic findings, therapeutic options, and prognostic uncertainties helped build trust and empowered Daniel to participate actively in his care. This partnership exemplified patient-centered medicine, where shared decision-making and empathy are foundational. The challenges presented by Daniel's case also highlighted the necessity of adaptability in clinical practice. As new information emerged, from molecular data to clinical responses, the team adjusted management strategies accordingly. This iterative process reflected the dynamic nature of medicine, where evolving evidence guides ongoing care. Emotionally, the journey was taxing for Daniel and all involved. Uncertainty can be a source of anxiety and frustration, yet resilience and support structures proved vital. Psychological counseling and family involvement mitigated distress and reinforced coping mechanisms, emphasizing the holistic nature of effective healthcare. From a scientific perspective, Daniel's case illuminated gaps in hematologic knowledge and spurred research initiatives aimed at rare blood disorders. The integration of clinical observations with molecular and proteomic data offered insights that could inform future diagnostic criteria and therapeutic targets. Institutionally, the Hematology Research Institute reinforced its commitment to to fostering environments where such complex cases can be managed effectively. Investments in technology, interdisciplinary collaboration, and education were prioritized to advance understanding and improve patient outcomes. Reflecting on this experience, I was reminded of the humility required in medicine. Despite technological advances and clinical expertise, uncertainty remains inherent, especially with rare and novel conditions. Embracing this reality with openness and perseverance is essential. Daniel's gradual improvement, though encouraging, did not diminish the need for vigilance. Long-term monitoring and supportive care remained integral components of his management, ensuring that potential changes could be addressed promptly. The case also reinforced the vital role of compassion. Scientific inquiry and clinical acumen must be matched by empathy and respect for the patient's lived experience. Daniel was more than a clinical enigma. He was a person navigating complex emotions and life changes. As we continue to chart Daniel's course, his case stands as a testament to the interplay of hope and uncertainty, science and humanity. It exemplifies the challenges and rewards of caring for patients with rare disorders and the ongoing quest to expand medical knowledge. This journey has deepened my appreciation for the collaborative spirit that underpins modern medicine. It is through teamwork, communication, and shared commitment that we can navigate complexity and provide meaningful care. Daniel's experience also serves as a reminder of the importance of patience and resilience for patients, families, and clinicians alike. Progress may be incremental, but each step forward contributes to healing and understanding. In the broader context, cases like Daniel's drive the evolution of hematology, inspiring new research, refining diagnostic tools, and shaping clinical practice. They highlight the necessity of integrating diverse expertise and perspectives in addressing medical mysteries. As we move forward, the Hematology Research Institute remains dedicated to advancing science and care for patients facing rare and challenging blood disorders. Daniel's case continues to inform and inspire this mission. Ultimately, this experience underscores that medicine is a shared human endeavor, one that embraces complexity with curiosity, uncertainty with courage, and science with compassion. It is a journey we undertake together, striving always to improve lives through knowledge, empathy, and hope. Daniel Harper's case stands as a powerful testament to the perseverance, innovation, and empathy that define modern medicine. Throughout the course of his journey, from the first bewildering observation of his blood's unusual hue to the complex molecular investigations and the tentative clinical improvements, we witnessed the delicate balance between scientific exploration and the human experience that every clinician must navigate. His condition challenged us not only to advance our technical knowledge, but also to deepen our commitment to compassionate care. The uncertainty that accompanied his diagnosis tested our resolve, reminding us that medicine is as much about embracing the unknown as it is about applying established protocols. Daniel was not simply a patient with a rare blood disorder. He was a living question mark, a catalyst for discovery, and a poignant reminder of medicine's dual nature as both science and art. From a scientific perspective, his case pushed the boundaries of hematology. It compelled us to integrate cutting-edge molecular diagnostics, proteomics, and bioinformatics with clinical acumen and multidisciplinary collaboration. Each layer of analysis peeled back new facets of a previously unrecognized blood alteration, expanding our understanding and opening avenues for future research. Daniel's journey underscored the value of curiosity and persistence in confronting medical enigmas and highlighted the importance of sharing knowledge through international collaborations and patient registries. On the clinical front, his case illuminated the complexities of managing rare disorders without clear diagnostic markers or established treatments. It required adaptability, careful monitoring, and a willingness to explore experimental therapies while prioritizing patient safety and well-being. Throughout, the partnership with Daniel and his family was central. Honoring their insights, fears, and hopes strengthened the therapeutic alliance and enriched the care process. Emotionally, the case was a profound reminder of the human dimensions of illness and healing. It revealed the resilience of the patient's spirit and the essential role of empathy, communication, and support in navigating uncertainty. Daniel's courage and his family's steadfast presence inspired the medical team and reaffirmed that behind every clinical mystery lies a person deserving dignity and compassion. Professionally, this experience has left an indelible mark on my approach to hematology. It reinforced the importance of maintaining humility in the face of complexity, fostering interdisciplinary collaboration, and embracing the evolving nature of medical knowledge. Daniel's case will continue to inform my clinical practice, research endeavors, and educational efforts, serving as a beacon for managing rare and challenging blood disorders. For the Hematology Research Institute, Daniel's journey has catalyzed institutional growth. It has driven the development of new diagnostic protocols, strengthened research networks, and enhanced educational programs focused on rare hematologic conditions. These advancements ensure that future patients with atypical presentations will benefit from more rapid diagnosis and tailored care. As medicine progresses, cases like Daniel's remind us that the frontier between the known and the mysterious is ever shifting. Navigating this frontier demands courage to face uncertainty, grace to listen and learn, and hope to persist in the quest for understanding and healing. Daniel Harper's story is a testament to the enduring human endeavor that is medicine, a shared journey marked by challenges and breakthroughs, science and empathy, questions and answers. It is a story that continues to inspire, reminding us that every patient's experience enriches the collective knowledge and that the pursuit of medical truth is both a scientific and profoundly human calling.